What's up? Welcome to Gaming Samurai YouTube channel. Today I'll be calling this guy a dumbass like usual, but oh shit. Here we go again. You already know it's gonna be a clown show when Dreamcast Guy boots up the camera, holds up his controller like he's about to review Oxygen and goes, "Hey gamers, bro, we get it. You own an Xbox and a PlayStation. You don't have to flex the controller like it's your diploma." Let's get into this shit and see
Hey there, gamers, Dreamcast Guy
how
here.
deep
Today
this
we're
rabbit
talking
hole
about
goes.
Xbox because they just released a statement admitting that they have been lying. They have lied in hundreds of podcasts and interviews. Every statement by Phil Spencer, it is all completely made up. The bedrock of Xbox is Game Pass, this big experiment that they basically said that instead of trying to charge you $60 or $70 for a game, or now $80 for a game, instead you get a big pool of players to chip in a small amount, $8, $20, right? The Game Pass subscription, and then that big pool of cash, Xbox uses it to buy developers, to fund games, to basically break even. And since the very, very start, Phil Spencer has said on camera, like thousands of times, Game Pass is profitable. Don't worry about closures. Don't worry about layoffs. Don't worry about these strict restrictions. We want our developers to be free to make the games they want. They just admitted Game Pass has never been profitable since the very start.
Thousands of times? Get the fuck out of here, dude. That's not a fact. That's a tantrum with Wi-Fi. That's a tantrum with Wi-Fi. And show me where Phil Spencer ever promised no layoffs. You're building straw men so you can feel smart, knocking them over. This ain't reporting. It's a fan fiction with a clickbait title. Show your goddamn controller already, man. Fuck. You like that, Daddy?
Game Pass has been geysering cash, and I feel so justified. I have to admit this. I've been talking about the unprofitability of this, and constantly people say, would Xbox lie? Xbox claims it's making money. Look, they did lie. Let's talk about it. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I have to admit that it is wild to just finally see them say this out here, but Phil Spencer and Satya Nadella from Microsoft have been lying to their investors and shareholders. They kept saying Game Pass is profitable.
And you call the Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella like you're reading a fucking grocery list. You're accusing a trillion-dollar company of lying to investors without a single quote or receipt. That's not a hot take. It's a lawsuit waiting to happen. This is sloppy as hell, bro.
When it very clearly wasn't. They simply did not count the cost of first-party games and budgets, only the fees paid to third parties and marketing. Do you read that? They literally admitted, this is so psychotic, the games are profitable if you pretend they're free. Like, legitimately. How many hundreds of millions of dollars did they spend making that wet turd Starfield? I mean, that was clearly a huge investment beyond even the marketing and stuff. But then
Calling Starfield a wet turd is a real brave behind a mic. Really brave, bro. Game had millions of players, but nah. Because you didn't like it, it's trash. Get the fuck over yourself. And that pretend the games are free bit, nah. That's just you not understanding how budgets and revenue breakdowns work. Shocker, right?
Bethesda is a massive, massive studio. They funded that development for years and years and years. How many of these games are just costing tons? Gears of War E-Day, the next Forza, Halo, Infinite, right? Those games are not breaking even, very obviously, because they're so expensive to upkeep, to dev, to make. They're saying they're profitable if their games don't cost money to make. They're literally asking. Everybody is like, bro, so all these years when Xbox fanboys pointed to Phil Spencer claiming Game Pass was profitable, as most sensible people were skeptical or flat out didn't believe them, turns out it's because Phil conveniently left out the single most expensive aspect of Game Pass. The whole idea of Game Pass was straight up that. It's Yes, sometimes there is third-party deals, stuff like what they did with Expedition 33, where they reached out to the devs and said, we want this day one on Game Pass. And they go, okay, pay us $1 million or whatever.
You're repeating yourself now. They act like games don't cost money. No, you just don't know how operating costs work. Also, Halo Infinite's still kicking. Forza Horizon 5 crushed it. Gears isn't even out yet, and you're trashing it off the trailer. Get a grip, bro. Seriously.
Right? They are only counting that in their record books. They're claiming that all their games didn't cost money. Now, already, I've seen some Xbox fanboys trying to defend this and saying that, oh, Xbox Division is separate from Xbox Game Pass. But nobody would have assumed that. If I'm looking at Netflix, Netflix technically sells DVDs. You can buy like Stranger Things Season 8, whatever the hell that show's on. You can buy that on DVD, right? But you know that when Netflix talks about profitability, they're talking about the total amount to make shows, to produce them, and to put them out. They're not talking about the profitability of the DVDs separate from the cost of putting out the shows themselves. They purposely have been lying to claim to investors, yeah, man, this is still a good idea. The Game Pass experiment is definitely still worth investing in. Oh, God. Every day the news gets worse and more bleak. The Game Pass revelations are insane. It makes me thankful that they never ended up acquiring the likes of Sega, Square Enix, or WB, or many of the other publishers they were linked with. Oh my god, dude, this is the best.
Microsoft would have gutted Sega based on what exactly? Obsidian's killing it. Bethesda's fine. You're pulling fear-mongering out your ass and calling it foresight. Meanwhile, layoffs are industry-wide, but only Xbox gets your smoke. Bias much, bro?
At this point, there has been talks about somebody trying to buy out WB. If they bought them, they would just lay everybody off. It's weird to think about the fact that Sega has grown a lot in the last couple of years. The success of Persona, obviously they're jointly working with Atlas, all the stuff with Yakuza games, on top of the explosive popularity of stuff like Sonic Frontiers. They would have gutted that. They would have said, sorry, Sonic Frontiers isn't profitable enough because it doesn't fit this weird metric. You all get the axe. I guarantee it. All the replies, what's bleak about this?
No.
Why would they count their own games? A single month of 35 million subscribers theoretically pays for a whole year of development of AAA, a game that takes 3 to 5 years. They've already announced they're spending approximately $1 billion a year for Game Pass. You really don't understand how much they're spending on development. Yeah. So one of the specific numbers that Xbox themselves keeps kicking around is we have 40 games in development. They keep saying that. We have 40 games in development. Let's assume most of those probably AA or single A. Only a couple of those are big AAA. But let's say even 25%. Let's say even 25% of those are big AAA games. That still means billions and billions of dollars of investment on this 35 million subscribers. Are you really trying to tell me this somehow is breaking even? I truly don't believe it. Now, I had to put this meme in here because this does actually crack me up. Colin Moriarty got absolutely flooded with hate. He did a video a couple of years ago where he very much went into the math and basically calculated it out and said, okay, how much subscribers do they really need to have to break even? Let's just sort of try to figure out exactly what it...
Jesus Christ. Do some research. You throw around 35 million subs and billions in losses like you're doing real math, but can't name a single actual figure. That's $4 billion a year in sub revenue. Stop fear baiting and bring some real numbers, not just vibes and hot air, bro. That's all you're doing. This is ridiculous.
Costs, roughly what these games are having, how much are they selling, how much does it take to break even? And he basically said, not only are they in the red, they are deep in the red, and he got flooded with hate for, I think to this day, he still gets flooded with hate. And I have to admit the fact that I like the fact that he just said, wow, I'm hearing this for the first time just now. Like, you gotta give the guy credit. It is absolutely... Phil said every studio needs to be profitable by themselves. Games, microtransactions, selling legacy games, coalition, helping other studios. There is way too many...
Not to mention, you can't even say Colin's name right. Fucking, you can't even get his name right, bro. It just shows how much... Oh, my God. How much research you actually do. when you can't even get the fucking names right, bro. It's
Many
ridiculous.
variables to give this. Oh, this is it. I feel like people are still trying to defend this.
Oh my god, bro. Even if 25% of their 40 games are AAA, development costs don't balloon to billions and billions overnight. You're inflating numbers to sound apocalyptic and dragging Colin into this. Like, the guy did a back of the napkin estimate years ago, got pushback, and you're acting like he's a prophet. He's not. Okay? He's just another talking head like you, making guesses without access to Microsoft's books. Stop worshiping at the altar of I told you so and bring some actual data to the table.
But to me, it's so black and white. They lied to you because it's very obvious that from the very, very start, the point of Xbox hasn't been about selling games. It's unfortunately a way for Microsoft to have an extra investment branch. I mean, they've never explicitly stated it, but it's very obvious that they make trillions of dollars on Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Word and Microsoft Windows. But they've always had the idea that their company.
Let me know in the comments if you guys think this guy is full of shit. Like, just I can't be the only one thinking this. This is I can't believe I used to watch this guy, man. Like, what is he smoking?
Company looks bigger, it looks more profitable if they also have a physical distribution arm, actual first-party games, selling controllers and stuff. This makes them more profitable in the eyes of investors. But now, with the Game Pass experiment just gushing money down the street, I think a lot of those investors are starting to turn that eye of Sauron and say, wait, why are we paying for you to piss this down the drain? Why are we investing for you to buy $80 billion studios like Activision Blizzard that just put out stuff third party anyways? Game Pass was never going to break even.
This is peak fear-mongering, by the way. A straight fear-mongering. This is what this guy does, man. And people actually listen to him. I'm going to have to go through some of the comments and see what people are saying. Hopefully they're not buying into this bullshit, dude. I hope not.
I hate to be that guy, but I was right. Obviously, I was right. Everybody was right. Anybody that was trying to defend this years ago, it was so obviously wrong. Well, thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a good day. If you could, please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. I'm eating nothing but chicken and rice. I'm not even going to show it to you. It's the most pathetic meal you've ever.
Chicken and rice. No wonder why your takes are so dry, bro. It's just chicken and rice. Your dinner has more flavor than your logic, dude. Your whole video is just salt, fluff, and really bad math. Like, you do no research. You can't get the names right. It's... I don't know, man. Let me know in the comments what y'all think of this bullshit. I think it's just bullshit. It's just bullshit. He hates Xbox. He's a PlayStation fanboy. Straight up, man. Thanks for watching.